Hi, my name is Isaac Olson. I'm a Senior Support Engineer with Microsoft Dynamics GP. Today I want to demonstrate some of our new features on GP 2016 from the application side. Attach Word template edit lists for batch-related workflows. To enable Word templates for your batch edit lists, go to Reports, Template Configuration. Expand your templates in your company. Under the financial series, you'll see 5 new templates, and there are also new templates for edit lists under sales and purchasing. In our workflow maintenance, I will use our general ledger batch approval for example. There's a new option when you send your email message to the approver to include Word templates. This option must be marked in order to send your edit lists in the email. If I open up a batch, submit it through my workflow, I now received an email for my notification on workflow saying that I have a pending approval. Notice how a Word template with my edit list of the batch is now available for me to view, so I can see all of the details without even having to open the transaction in GP. Sales all in one view. The Sales all-in-one viewer is a great way to quickly view documents and how they're tied to customers' transactions. For example, under customer maintenance, if I was curious what happened with a quote from Aaron Fitz, I could click on the all-in-one view and then look up my quote. When I check the box, it's going to filter all the results for just transactions that came from that quote. So I can see that an order was created and it was invoiced. There are also details on the transactions and filters where you can choose if you can see historic or only open. There are multiple ways to search and filter in this window. Inventory all-in-one view. The Inventory all-in-one viewer is similar to the Sales all-in-one viewer. If I click on my item, I can access the all-in-one view from the menu bar. This is available in multiple windows. From here, I can see my quantity in, quantity moved, and quantity out. If I wanted to see where the quantity from this transfer came from, I can select it, and I can see that it came from this receipt layer. Once again, there are many filters, such as saved and posted transactions, that you can use, and there are little details that you can also expand on items. Payroll posting accounts setup enhancements. In the Human Resources and Payroll module, we have a new navigation list called Payroll Posting Accounts. This lists all of your posting accounts set up for payroll. You can add filters to change the account types for your gross pay, federal tax, etc. If I want to make a change, I can export this whole list to Excel. Once exported to Excel, I'm allowed to make changes. For example, I can change my posting account When I save my Excel file, I can now import my changes back in, and it overwrites my whole setup for payroll. If I typed in a wrong account number or there was an invalid field, an exception report would let me know. In my case, my import process completed successfully. Once I refresh my list, I can see that my account number changed to what I changed and set up in Excel. View human resource balances on the time management tile. And view human resources balances in preview pane of navigation lists. In previous versions of Microsoft Dynamics GP, you could only view your vacation and sick leave balances if you were using Payroll for accrual. With GP 2016, you can now view up to 5 tiles worth of vacation and sick balances if you are accruing using human resources. If I change my setup from accruing in payroll to human resources, my home page now has up to 5 time codes from human resources and my balances. The tiles that will show follow the same rules as if you are going to print a time code on a pay stub or not within the time code setup. These balances are also available in our navigation lists. If I select to view one of my time cards in the details, I can see down here that I have all 5 of my time codes available in the details section. Changes to PTE Employee Expense Entry window and addition of PTE Edit List reports. For self-service users that are entering employee expense reports, we made a few changes to the window to help the user better understand what exactly needs to be entered. Previously, the cost category ID was labeled as item. We've changed this to stay consistent with the rest of GP. We also added a unit of measure and unit cost field. Both of these are just more details so that the users have more flexibility in what they're entering. Also newly added, we have an edit list. This allows the user to print and view a report of what they entered and submitted. This edit list is also available under the timesheet entry for PTE. Project Accounting Requisition Entry. Requisitions can now be entered with project information. Previous to GP 2016, the project information had to be entered after the requisition was turned into a purchase order. As you can see, project number and cost category ID are now available in this window. I can now submit and save my requisitions with project information, and that'll transfer to my PO. This concludes the video demonstrations. I also wanted to list out our additional features along with a brief summary of each. Doc Attach, the ability to scan multiple pages. As long as you have a scanner with multi-page feeder functionality, you can now scan multiple pages into Doc Attach on a document. Doc Attach, manage and edit attachments that flow to transactions. You are now able to enter attributes for an attachment on a master record, then edit those attributes once the attachment has been added to a transaction. Previously, if the attribute had flowed from the master record, you could not edit it. Enter prepayments for entire purchase order amount. Previously to GP 2016, prepayments could only be entered for the subtotal minus the trade discount. Now you are able to enter the full total amount on the purchase order as a prepayment. Bank reconciliation. Auto deposit cash receipt batch to a single deposit. You can now post all cash receipts and receivables batch to a single deposit record in bank reconciliation. In previous versions of Microsoft Dynamics GP, the option to post cash receipts automatically to bank reconciliation would post a single deposit for each individual cash receipt. Analytical Accounting. User access settings for transaction dimension codes. In prior versions, each user must be granted access to each AA dimension code before they can use an AA dimension code on a transaction. With this new functionality, you can control if you want to retain the ability to restrict access to each AA dimension code by user, or allow all users in the database to have access to all dimension codes. General Ledger. Display duplicate GL accounts on budget exception report, and budget import warn or generate report when accounts in budget do not exist. On the exception report for GL budget import process, if an account is listed multiple times in a file being imported, you will receive a warning. You will also receive a warning if the budget import process has a GL account that does not exist in Microsoft Dynamics GP. Payables Management. Use credit card as payment type in Payables check run. This new functionality will allow credit card as a payment type option to be used in a Payables check run process. The total amount of the check run processed will create an open invoice for the credit card vendor. Remove inactive pay codes from payroll transaction entry. There is now a default option in the pay codes lookup to not include inactive pay codes. This is especially useful when entering transaction in the transaction entry window. In Human Resources, the VETS 100 report is updated to the new VETS 4212 format. Document attachments for project time and expense, employee expenses. The option to attach documents using Doc Attach is now available in the PTE employee expense entry window. These attachments can be emailed to approvers if the option to include document attachment documents is enabled in the workflow setup. EFT for payables/receivables. File format for Scotia Bank. This feature will add the electronic funds transfer file format that is accepted by Scotia Bank to the default list of formats within GP. This format can be used with EFT in Payables Management or EFT in Receivables Management. This concludes the demonstration of Microsoft Dynamics GP 2016 Applications New Features. Please take a look at our documentation, which we will have posted on our new feature blogs.